of what culture looks like. And what Coach Siddle's been able to build here at Wilmington, the whole town rallies behind this team.
UNCW in their new black uniforms, the Cougars in the tan. And the Seahawks win the tip. Keith Fogelman, Anthony Franklin, and Kellen Milliner are the officials. Trazarian White, he has been a top 15 scorer in the country, short on his first attempt.
Good defense there by Berzovic, staying in front, staying down, forcing the low percentage shot.
Charleston had won 9 in a row until Thursday, a loss at home to Towson. Here's Berzovic on the back down. Ante Berzovic.
They need to go to him early and often. I think that is where they have the most advantage on the offensive end.
UNCW started CAA play 0-2. Since then, they've won 3 in a row. Shot clock down to 10. Jenkins, he can fill it up.
And Charleston's electing to switch on all these pick and rolls. So when you come off, you got to be aggressive and ready to make a play.
These are the top 2 offenses in the CAA. Frankie Policelli, he's a transfer from Stony Brook.
And talking to Coach Siddle before the game, transition defense was a key point of emphasis. Even after a made basket, Charleston's going to get that ball down the floor.
To your point, the Cougars are 28th in the country in tempo. Here's White with 10. White with a beautiful dunk down. McGriff.
I thought on that possession, the help came too early. Travarian White saw the double team come, was able to dump it off to his big man for the flush.
Here's Fulton to Berzovic.
Great play there by Fulton, keeping the dribble alive, changing pace a little bit, little wraparound pass for the easy deuce.
C.J. Fulton, a transfer into Pat Kelsey's program from Lafayette. We'll talk about the transfer pipeline here at Charleston, part of what they've built in 3 short seasons. Jenkins is off. Berzovic heaves. A little bit off. White with a head of steam. Can't connect. Kick out to Jenkins. And White battles his way for the rebound. He had 31, 11, and 6 on Thursday. Phillips.
Great take there by Phillips. The defense is not set off of offensive rebounds, attacking the closeout and getting the floater.
Listen to this atmosphere. Up ahead.
Great play by Ross, running the floor in transition. Charleston doesn't get back, finds himself alone, and able to get the deuce.
Berzovic unafraid to shoot it. This time he puts it on the deck and was off. Policelli. They're letting him play early on. A ton of contact, count it.
Good job of Policelli staying with the play. Berzovic takes it in. Shorts arm the floater, and Policelli doing a good job of not being a bystander, getting offensive rebound for the and-one finish. You see here, that advance pass is very important. Ross is able to get downhill, and Policelli getting his hands on the 50-50 ball. May have got fouled on the first attempt, doesn't give up, and then gets the and-one.
Frankie Policelli, he knows this league. Intra-conference transfer from Stony Brook to Charleston, and Pat Kelsey was so complimentary of the toughness factor that he's given this team.
And he's starting to play well. Last 2 games, 14 points per game, 6 rebounds, only shot 3 of 11 in his last game, but I like him being aggressive. Kick out.
All 3 of these for Ross.
Well, now with Scott in the game, they're going to hard hedge. Great job by the guards keeping the ball alive. Now we got a steal.
And the Seahawks have numbers. McGriff. Catch your breath, Trey Demps.
How about this atmosphere? Things are rocking. We see here, drive and kick. Ross doing the rest. Your defensive principles.
Love what you say about that pick and roll defense for the Cougars as McGriff is at the line. Out of our timeout, it was the point of emphasis that Pat Kelsey made at his shoot-around this morning because, Trey, on Thursday, Towson went 10 for 19 from 3. Christian May had 20, and they shot the Cougars at TD.
And a lot of times, three-point percentage is indicative to your ball screen coverage because if you're not on the same page in a collective unit, when you're in a hard hedge, a lot of your rotations are off, and that gives up open opportunities from the three-point line.
Some pressure from the Seahawks. When you're on the road in this atmosphere, how do you stay focused?
You just got to stay true to who you are. You want to execute in the half court especially.
Here's Rogers. Straight up defense by Donovan Newby, who comes in off the bench. White off to Newby. He's been struggling with that shot. Takeo Siddle thought maybe bringing him in as a reserve today could help. Fresh 20. White off the fake. Trezarian White is off.
And the bigs of Charleston have done a really good job early on, staying down on White, making him a jump shooter.
Policelli.
How about that? We talked about it in the open. If you go underneath Charleston, any handoffs, ball screens, they're going to make you pay.
Frankie Policelli has been in the high 30s throughout his career in three-point percentage. They believe he can get back there. As here's Newby, he's fouled on the take. What's this game mean in the CAA? Well, Drexel's ex-Spikers team, they're off to their best start in conference play since the mid-90s when Malik Rose was leading them. But these two expect to be in the conference regular season title hunts.
Yeah, you just talk about the conference as a whole. You look at their record against, other conferences in the non-con play, undefeated against the Missouri Valley, UNC Wilmington with that big win against Kentucky. I mean, this is high-level basketball.
On that same day that UNCW beat Kentucky, Drexel beat Villanova. Several marquee wins. And a little bit off, and the rebound to Burnham and Charleston. Here's Bryce Butler, a Division II transfer. The kick and the three. It's Crawford.
Good job by Crawford getting his seat set. One of the things about Wilmington, sometimes they overhelp. They'll send 3 guys to the ball, so there's going to be some opportunities for Charleston's role players to knock down open looks.
You talk about those role players as they get a stop. That's part of the DNA of this program. They are 9th in the country in bench points.
And Coach Kelsey gives his guys a ton of confidence. There's really not a bad shot.
Burnham off, and here comes Raton Mays.
I think three-point shooting is going to be big for Wilmington. Early on, Charleston has given them some opportunities at the three-point line, catch and shoot. You got to be confident, step down, and knock it down.
They've gone from an offense that averaged around 68 points per game last year to 81 this year. So there's 3 on the shot clock for Newby. Newby. Another offensive rebound. Hodge.
And Hodge has made 1 3-pointer in each of the last 2 games. So he's the guy to watch as his confidence starts to build.
They average 9 triples per game. They've got a pair, and we're even. Butler. And Burnham was over the back.
Great job by Raton Mays, walling up As we see here, the offensive rebound, Hodge getting his feet set, confidently knocking it down, but really like the minutes that Raton Mason gives. He's pushing the tempo, he's getting guys involved, and doing a good job on that last possession, walling up, not allowing Butler to get into the paint when he's playing booty ball. Got a lot of guys that play booty ball for Charleston.
Fun start to this one. These teams met 3 times last year. Charleston won all 3 meetings. It's a little bit of revenge at stake as well for the Seahawks. 10 on the shot clock. Now down to 6. It's Phillips. Shaquem Phillips. Tapped out and to the Cougars.
Well, because Charleston is switching on a lot of these pick and rolls, what it's doing is it's making Wilmington a one-on-one isolation team. And Phillips getting downhill, able to get past the defender, but the help side is there to force a low percentage floater.
On the back down, Burnham. Ben Burnham, he's the guy who steadies the ship, says Pat Kelsey.
Yeah, if he gets the ball down low against Ross, who's only 6'7", probably giving up about 40 pounds, he's able to get to that left shoulder quick and get the high percentage look.
A foul on Crawford, and we've got a timeout.
We see Burnham again, get right to that position, little ball fake. Charleston got it rolling early.
The overtime went into overtime.
Championship game.
Yeah, to your point, a magical season, 31-4. And it's a collective of guys. Charleston hasn't had over the last 2 seasons one guy that averages 15-plus games. They have multiple guys that can get it done on the offensive end.
John Fanta, Trey Demps with you from Wilmington. It'll go back to the Cougars. 31 wins last year, the most for this program in their Division I era. And over the last month, they've looked like that type of team again, despite losing 5 different players from last year that started at one time or another. Berzovic is one of the 2 key returners. He's off.
Great defense there by McGriff, timing up a little shimmy move by Berzovic and able to get the block.
Here's Jenkins, transfer from New Mexico. KJ Jenkins.
It's been fun watching him over the last few games. How aggressive he's been. Has made 8 threes, but doing a good job there, putting the ball on the floor, taking his time playing off of 2 feet and getting the midi.
Double figures in 9 of his last 10 games. That's a travel.
I think that's been the difference over these last 3 games with Wilmington. As we see here, Jenkins doing a good job playing off of 2 feet, use a little bit of a head fake to create the space. But on the defensive ends, they have been connected. On a lot of switches, whether it's ball screen defense, whether it's transition defense, all 5 guys have been on the same page. And I think that's been the difference in why they've been able to get on this 3-game win streak.
Trey, it's what Zakeo Siddle told us. He said, look, we're better offensively, but I'm still a defensive guy. We still have to guard. Because Mr. White, once they guard, he can score.
Just a quick move before the double team can come. No baseline help, and able to get the finish.
Another contested shot as Fulton is off. White. Trezarian White is long this time. And here comes London, who's just checked in. Khalil London, tap back for Berzovic.
That's a good take there by London because the help side has to come over because he's able to get downhill into the painted area. That allowed Berzovic to get the tip in.
Does this not feel like a heavyweight showdown?
Oh, for sure. And it's been fun to watch as we see White struggling a little bit early on, getting downhill. But it almost seems like Wilmington, maybe because they're at home, is dictated the tempo, and they feel comfortable playing at that faster tempo because they have experienced guards. We see it again. And Charleston early on has done a really good job of staying vertical and not allowing him to get all the way where he can shoot uncontested layups, forcing him to shoot floaters, mid-range shots. You see the switch again. They're just switching back and forth.
And that works perfectly. A turnover.
And I think if you're White, when you get that switch, you got to back it up a little bit to get your speed up. Because if you get the switch within the 15-foot range, it's harder for you to get downhill, and it's actually easier for Charleston's bigs to stay in front of you.
It's interesting. A guy averaging over 20 per game. Here's Brzovic. Ante Brzovic has helped set the tone for the Cougars.
And he's popping on a lot of these pick-and-roll actions. Doing a good job there, getting downhill. Help side's not there, able to get the deuce.
Trey, that he scores that much, White, and he's only hit 14 threes on the season. You noticed that.
Yeah, and they're undefeated when he hits a three. So we'll see if that streak continues. In their losses, he's 0 of 14 from the three-point line. His shooting, if he's able to knock down perimeter shots, just gives a different dynamic for the Charleston team.
And that says to you, as you were talking with me about this morning, potential NBA. If that comes along, that jumper.
Yeah, absolutely.
Down to 5. White floating, and again, he was contested.
That's a good job there, forcing the ball to the baseline.
Rain Smith is off. But Pat Kelsey will live with those shots. Newby, a lot of contact, and there's the foul call. It came at the last moment. And there's some disbelief from Butler.
It's a good play there. Kind of got mixed up with the switching. Newby doing a good job getting downhill. And that was a great call by the official because he was the one that had the angle to see the hand contact. It was actually good defense from a body-to-body standpoint because the defender was vertical, but there's a little bit of a hand check which drew the foul.
Off the fake. Newby.
I love that Newby has continued to stay aggressive. Last 2 games only shooting 20% from the field, not letting that affect him.
Here come the Seahawks again. This place is ready to burst. Hodge. Offensive rebound by McGriff. Phillips is short. And a foul. It's on McGriff, and we've got a timeout.
We see Newby coming off the baseline out of bounds play, little fake, and knocking down the 3 ball.
I work hard and I want my money to work hard too. So I use my Freedom Unlimited card. Earning on my favorite soup. Got it.
A Charleston uniform.
Talking to Coach Kelsey before the game, Policelli is just a culture guy. Someone that's a veteran, understands his role. But what I love most is not afraid to get him up. Averages 6 3-point field goal attempts per game.
Led this league in rebounds last year. He was looking for the basketball there. That's deflected. And it will stay with the Cougars.
See it again here. Good slip by Policelli. Looked like they got away with the hold, White did. And I don't know if anybody tipped that one.
Takeo Siddle was pleading his case. It looked like he had one. Policelli short. Here's Hodge. Takeo Siddle loves his talent. He's a little bit off this time, and you like the way Charleston's defended.
Yeah, I like the switching defense, and there's just a commitment on that end to guard the basketball. It's all about pride. Do you want to defend? Charleston has early on.
Crawford.
This is a small note, but when I watched Crawford this morning at shoot-around, I don't think he missed a three. Every shot that he took went in. And just the preparation level, you know that young man has been in the gym, ready for his opportunity, knocking down 2 early threes here.
Part of one of the best mid-major recruiting classes in the country. Just a freshman. Shot clock down to 10. Phillips. Another one-on-one scenario, as you've alluded to.
And that's what Charleston wants. Mid-range, contested jump shots. They've been able to get a little bit free, but that's what the defense gives you, so you got to be able to knock those down.
They go under, and again, Crawford makes them pay. He's 3 for 3 from 3. Timeout, UNCW.
His last 3 games, his only shot 3 for 11, 10 minutes per game, but you would never know it. So he comes off of here, being able to take a pay, going underneath the screen, and then another 3 ball. Crawford has it going early.
Surge behind Jordan Crawford. He's averaged just over 10 minutes per game.
Yeah, I mean, he's a capable scorer, though. There was a point in December where he had 4 straight 10-plus games, including 13 points against FAU. He's a guy that is as talented as an underclassman you'll find in this conference, showing it here early this afternoon.
UNCW won for their last 8, in need of a bucket. Phillips is long, but a foul on the Cougars.
I made this point before, but they've gotten a lot of those opportunities as Phillips kind of got downhill off the closeout, where they've been able to get around 8 to 10 feet for a floater or mid-range shot. Those are the ones you got to knock down.
Pat Kelsey visibly upset. Jenkins.
And as he knocks down 3 balls, that's going to open up everything for the Seahawks with penetration, especially for White, because you got to think twice about helping off of him.
A foul on Phillips. They were trying the alley-oop to Scott.
You see here, Fulton cheats that screen, tries to go over the top of it. Jenkins making the great read of flaring out to the corner and knocking down the 3 ball.
James Scott at the line for Charleston.
Well, KJ Jenkins entered today 8 for 14 from 3 in his last 2, as James Scott off on his first attempt, but he's another impact newcomer to the fold for the Cougars.
As an efficient player, you'll find shooting 82% from the field, rookie of the week twice in the CAA in December. You can see the talent oozing from him.
And Trey, you can see the depth that they have. Part of their DNA playing out right here. The fact that these freshmen come in off the bench and step up.
Yeah, it's just the confidence that Coach Kelsey gives everybody. There's really no bad shot that you can take as long as it's within rhythm.
Jenkins is long. Here's Fulton, a native of Ireland, part of the Ireland national team. Fulton.
And that's big because pretty much all ball screens of Fulton, they're going underneath. Even if it's set in the mid-range area, Fulton doing a good job being decisive and knocking it down.
He only averages 4 points per game. So Charleston's complementary players are delivering today as Jenkins leads the way for the Seahawks with 9.
And it was the change of pace off of that ball screen that made Scott go back to his defender, and he was able to get the floater.
Burnham's off, and here come the Seahawks. Phillips got a step. Straight up defense by Burnham.
And that was a good play by both players in that position. Phillips, we take a look at it again. Good kick-out pass, going off of 2 feet. And then Burnham doing a good job of staying vertical, not going into the offensive player. That's clean defense. Just a good play by both players. But ultimately, Burnham came out on top.
Keith Fogelman, Anthony Franklin, Kellen Milner, your officials. And this does not feel like your mid-January game. These two coaches have been plenty active in conversation in this first half.
It feels like March, but the weather out here wouldn't say so.
No. Brzovic, who just came back in, and a foul. It's on Harvey. And we've got a timeout. A 4-point game. You're watching college basketball on CBS Sports Network, presented by Fresh Packs. But that Charleston defense has held UNCW to 11 of 32 from the floor. And Trezarian White, only 2 points on 1 of 7. How about that defense?
And how about the fact that he has 0 free throw attempts? And that's just taking pride on the defensive ends, right? He's a guy that averages almost 9 free throw attempts. To hold him to 1 of 7, to not allow him to get to the foul line to get himself going, has been a major factor in this game.
He drew 13 fouls against Elon on Thursday night.
It's a guy that shot 20 free throws in a game earlier in the year.
None tonight. Here he is. And there's a foul. That is more of his game.
And that was the thing that Coach Kelsey mentioned. He just has a gift of drawing fouls and being able to sell it in a way that's not flopping, right? Because there's sometimes where guys flop, but he's able to sell contact in a way that triggers the ref to call it.
It is a 1-and-1 for White as that foul put Charleston in the penalty. UNCW still with 2 to give. White on the season 70% at the line. Again, folks, he's coming off a 31-point performance straight. He has scored at least 27 in 4 of the last 7 games.
Another thing, too, there are 2 games against Power 5 opponents. He averaged 28 points per game. To me, he's a guy that should be on draft boards that NBA scouts should keep their eye on.
Brzovic backdoor to Fulton. Pretty pass from the big man.
And that's what's called delay action, where you play through your center, you get weak side movement on both ends. Great job of slipping the screen and getting the deuce for Fulton.
Jenkins to the corner. Newby is short. And there's Brzovic again. His activity in this first half. Butler to Brzovic. Brzovic is a freight train.
Well, that's the challenge, right? When Butler posts up and you have Brzovic, who's a center playing the perimeter, you send the double team, and now all of a sudden you have a 6'10 guy with a full head of steam coming at you.
Double figures now in 7 of his last 8 games. He leads everybody with 11. White. Offensive rebound. You talked about that. Their 7th offensive board. To the corner, Newby. Some contact as he threw that behind the bucket, and it's back to the Cougars. Coming up on AT&T at the half. Brent Stover, Chris Walker, John Rothstein, and Seth Davis will get you caught up on all the highlights from around college basketball. It's coming up on AT&T at the half. What a day in college hoops. Plenty of drama. Earlier on CBS, Boise State taking down San Diego State in the ever-dramatic Mountain West. Deep 3 for Smith. And out of bounds off the Cougars.
And Smith is a guy they need to get going as well. Only shot 5 of 20 in his last few games from the three-point line. They need his threes, especially on the road.
UNCW teams led the CAA in scoring this year. What do they need to do different offensively?
Well, I think they're getting good looks. And it's hard because Charleston switches up how they play pick and roll defense. Sometimes they're in flat, sometimes they're in hard hedge. So you got to be assertive and aggressive with whatever defense they're playing.
Just their 2nd turnover. That's a trap.
And to your point again, so sometimes there's, as we see this highlight again, doing a good job of forcing him into the dead zone underneath the basket. But to your point, you know, sometimes you have this the weak side skip pass where you're able to attack closeout. Sometimes they're in a flat drop coverage where the ball handler is able to create. So you got to just read the defense and take what the defense gives you.
Phillips to the corner. There's White.
And I don't like that defense from Butler. He helped same side corner. Even though White has struggled, you don't want to give him that easy of a look.
Just his 15th three of the year. They're unbeaten when he hits one. Here's a turnover. No, it's taken back. Dumped down to Brzovic. Nice delivery from Rogers. Well, they gave thought to going 2 for 1, but then Takeo Siddle pulled everybody back as there's about a 16-second difference between shot and game. Shot clock at 8. Phillips. Fader. Another offensive rebound. They get a fresh 20. Farrar sticks it back.
A great job by Farrar, not just being a bystander. That shot goes up. He crashes the glass immediately and is able to get the floater.
Pat Kelsey will use that use it or lose it timeout. And the Cougars with 9.3.
You see it here, Farrar using his
1.3 seconds left in the first half. Cougars with the ball. Trazarian White, folks, is a top 15 scorer in America. In this first half, one to forget.
Yeah, you got to give Charleston a ton of credit. They have kind of forced him to take lower percentage shots in the mid-range.
Down to 6 for Rogers. It's at 4. Rogers now with 3. Rogers heaves, and that'll do it for the opening 20 minutes. Charleston, the reigning CAA champs. They swept UNCW last year. The Cougars.
Healthy competition amongst these two teams, but there's just nothing but respect of the program that these two coaches have built.
You're right. It was interesting this morning. You don't hear this now in 2024 as often, but they both said, look, yeah, we don't like each other. It's because we respect the heck out of each other, though.
And that's just, you know, that's old school basketball, and I feel like we need more of that sometimes. You know, it's a lot of buddy-buddy in today's basketball.
This is a rivalry. As Brzovic is off, McGriff with the defense. Just 175 miles separate the two schools. Shot clock down to 8. Jenkins is off.
But I like that play from McGriff. You get the ball in the post. You don't feel comfortable playing one-on-one. A little dribble-up move to Jenkins. Just wasn't able to knock it down.
Here's Smith. He was quiet in the first half. White got his hand on it. Fulton somehow grabs it. Smith off the fake. Rain Smith. He had 30-plus against St. Joe's this year.
There's certain guys where their threes mean more than 3 points. Because of how much they depend on his three-point shooting, being able to space the floor, it is important for him to get going in the second half.
First points of the game for the junior from Australia. White.
And I like that. Just straight off the catch, a little bit of a jab step, get downhill, left hand. Burnham not doing a great job of cutting him off. White making him pay.
That was in your keys. Get to the basket. Burnham is off. Takeo Siddle said, we can't settle, gentlemen. To beat the reigning CAA champs, we've got to attack them. Deep 3 for Jenkins.
That's just the challenge that White presents for your defense. Because he's so good in the low block area, you have to bring help. Jenkins doing a good job being ready and knocking it down.
He's shooting 60% from 3 in his last 3 games. Smith leaks out. It stays with the Cougars.
How about that play from Ross? Getting it on the floor. So we see here the Jenkins 3 from NBA range. But the intensity level just continues to rise And I've really been impressed with Noah Ross's play. He's not going to get any plays called for him. He's a complimentary guy. He's a glue guy that does the extra things, and he's having to guard a veteran in Burnham.
Ahmad Harvey checks in off the bench for McGriff. Takeo Siddle had a message to his starting big man. Here's Brzovic. Ante Brzovic.
What Brzovic is doing in those pick and rolls, he's doing what's called a short roll, where he's catching the ball in the free throw line area, and then he's able to attack downhill.
Here's White. That was stuffed. Ben Burnham had straight up defense on him. Now Burnham. Rebound by Phillips. And a quick foul on Brzovic. He didn't want them to take off and run.
It's a veteran heady play there.
What does this game mean? Well, Charleston and UNCW are trying to keep up with unbeaten Drexel at 7-0 after a win over Delaware earlier today. The Cougars in that log jam there with Towson, North Carolina A&T. Campbell is new to the CAA this season. And Bill Cohen, his Northeastern Huskies, you can never count them out. Bill 1 win shy of the all-time CAA wins record. Phillips and one.
That was a great job there by Harvey setting a flat ball screen. So then Phillips can choose which side he attacks. As we see it again, big man is over on the left side. He attacks to the right. Scott is not able to catch up. A strong take there by the veteran guard.
Trey, we were at shoot-around this morning. This kid never stops smiling.
And that type of energy is infectious, right? That carries over to the rest of your guys.
He's a 5-year guy at UNCW. Tough lay-in for Rogers.
And that's what Rogers did at the end of that Towson game. He just got downhill. I'd like to see more of that. Maybe not set a play, just let him attack. And then if he doesn't have anything, you can spray it out for threes.
A national champion at the D2 level last year as White is fouled.
And that play kind of looked like DeMar DeRozan as we see Rogers getting downhill, no help side there. But that play by White is a little thing. He watches film where you stick the ball out a little bit because the defender's hand is right there and force the foul. I think that's what Kelsey was talking about before the game with his knack to draw fouls.
Jordan Crawford checks back in. Frankie Policelli with his third foul. But Crawford came in for him in the first half and had 9 points. Here's Jenkins again. KJ Jenkins is heating up.
Had 5 threes in his last game against Elon. Probably going to reach that again here today.
Crawford got up the floor in 4 seconds to take that shot. Crawford, just a freshman. And a foul on the take. That won't count.
And that's what opens up when you're able to knock down perimeter shots. As we see the baseline out of bounds play, Smith not able to get through the double stagger screen, and Jenkins getting his feet set and knocking down the tray ball.
KJ Jenkins now 11 for 20 in his last 3 games from downtown. Here's the freshman Crawford. How much has he impressed you?
Very much, and really it's just to begin this second half, because I thought in the first half he's trying to fill the game out. You know, this is probably his first time playing in this type of environment. As we see it again, getting downhill, playing off of 2 feet, getting his defender in the air. But as a guy that just has a knack to get into the foul line, their last game had 14 free throw attempts.
When you think about this Charleston program, this is a program that has been unafraid to bring in the high-level Division II transfers, and why not? Kobe Rogers and Bryce Butler. Rogers for Nova Southeastern, Butler for West Liberty last year on CBS in the Division II National Championship game. Rogers and Nova Southeastern were on the winning side, but now they're wearing the same uniform.
And both, I mean, in college basketball as a whole, you want to get winners. Guys, whether it's at the D2 level, the junior college level, that have won at the highest level.
The Cougars, they have had a transformation as a program. Now they're looking for a signature road win today. Cannot wait for that Chiefs-Bills showdown. Be plenty of fun. John Fanta, Trey Demps with you. Let's take a look at college basketball storylines. Plenty of activity. How about a triple overtime classic in New Jersey earlier today? Creighton outlasting Seton Hall.
Even though Seton Hall with the loss today, I love where Coach Holloway is continuing to build with Seton Hall. They have guys now that can put the ball in the hole to go along with their toughness and grit.
And Mr. Edey, ho-hum, third straight 30-10 game.
It's just another day at the office for Zach Edey. You know, just a double-double machine, unstoppable, and continues to get better on the defensive end.
West Virginia shocking Kansas. You just don't know in this sport. Mountaineers 7-11 on the year and take down the top 3 team. Jenkins is off this time. Crawford. Jordan Crawford is only a freshman. He's got a dozen.
How about that from the freshman, coming up big in this hostile environment, quieting the crowd.
His finest hour of his career thus far. Shot clock down to 10. And again, that Charleston defense. It's at 6 for White. Trezarian White.
And it's the deceleration as he gets closer to the to the basket to give himself balance. Great take there by White.
Butler with the reverse. White comes right back, and Trey right off makes. It's 5 seconds and somebody's launching a shot.
It's the best brand of basketball. As we see the rip through, a little bit of a look off right there by Butler. With a good job on the other end for White getting downhill. And just his understanding of angles. Knowing that when the defender opens up their feet just a little bit, that he can attack that angle, create contact, and go up vertically.
Trezarian White now with 21 straight games with 10 or more points as Berzovic and Burnham check back in for the Cougars. And it feels like, Trey Demps, that there's been a change, an adjustment from White in this second half. He is in attack mode right now.
Well, I think it's where he's attacking. He's starting to attack more from the top of the key area where he has more space to operate.
Berzovic has been plenty active. Ante Berzovic.
His ability to operate in that short roll situation and his teammates being able to make that pocket pass to find him and getting the floater on that possession.
17 for Berzovic. Newby just took his man all the way to the bucket, and he'll go to the free throw line.
We see that last place again. And there's not a lot of guys that can make that shot at that size. And Newby doing a good job of getting downhill, using the change of pace, using an escape dribble to open himself up out of that ball screen action and draw the foul.
Donovan Newby, senior from Chicago Heights, Illinois. As you look at this student section, folks, they've been waiting all day. They started a tailgate. University has a full-on pregame party here in Wilmington.
I mean, there's Power 5 teams that don't have that. I mean, it's incredible.
Ball awarded to Charleston, and the 5,200 here are letting the officiating crew know what they think. It is an amazing scene. The swim team is behind the Charleston bench because, of course. Fulton. Not this time.
Kind of wish the swim team was underneath the Seahawks basket when they shot free throws.
White. And the rebound to Rogers. And Fulton takes a bump from Newby.
As Fulton continues to play in that pick and roll, they're going to go under until he can prove that he can knock down that three-point shot. That possession did a good job of just attacking downhill. Sometimes when defenders go underneath, it's not always the jump shot. You can get downhill if your defender gets caught up on the screen.
As Rattan Mays checks back in for UNCW. Youngstown State transfer now guarding Fulton on the ball. 2 transfers right now in lead guard positions. Ante Berzovic on an island. Berzovic on the back down. Ante Berzovic owns that island. 19 points.
That was a good job of Harvey warring over the screen, making Berzovic catch the ball out, but just too good from the big man.
Nolan Hodge. Timeout UNCW.
Hodge continues to step up, being
this team. They take those 31 threes per game. That is third in all of college basketball.
And how about this? Rain Smith took 20 threes in one game, shot 9 of 20. Now that I think about it, I would have loved to play for Coach Kelsey.
But they're called fast advantage shots. That if Pat Kelsey sees an opening, he doesn't care if it's 3 seconds into a shot clock. If it's open, he likes it. Hodge off to White, Trace-Arian White.
Now we have the crowd into it. You send 2 to Berovic. He turns it over. You're able to get in transition, and you're hanging on rims.
Hodge is swarming the ball. Berzovic with a silencer.
And you saw the guard start to come over to double team. I think that is a great point of attack. Even every time he puts the ball on the ground, whether it's from the perimeter or the low block, send a double team because he's eating right now.
Look, Takeo Siddle, UNCW head coach, told us we're a guards team. Our bigs hang in, but right now, Charleston's attacking that advantage. Shot clock down to 8. Phillips stripped. White can't keep it in, and the Cougars get another stop. And at any chance that Charleston gets going, UNCW gets going, Charleston has kept them at bay. But White trying to ignite these Seahawks.
I wear this shirt on game day, tailgates, homecoming.
Well, first of all, it's softer than any other hoodie that I own.
In transition and attacking, I think that's where you can beat them because Charleston sends a lot of people to the offensive glass.
Defensive principles of these 2 teams. And you could just tell these teams, Trey Demps, know each other well.
Yeah, this is going to come down to execution. This game is going to slow down, so tendencies and knowing those tendencies are going to be important.
Rogers, he's got half a dozen. Here's Phillips, the veteran guard in his 5th year with this program. He didn't enter the transfer portal. He stayed here for half a decade. Jenkins with the timer down to 7. Into the hands of White, one of the best scorers in America. White, gliding, hitting.
And that's what I'm talking about. White attacking between the elbows. The help is not able to come. There's more space for him to operate with a tough finish.
16 for White. Spin move, Rogers, goodbye. McGriff denied the reservation.
But I do like Rogers being aggressive on the attack mode. He just has to understand when the help side is coming. You see here, there's 2 guys with him. Try to spray that thing out for 3s.
Rain Smith. Rebound by Hodge. Hodge, White, McGriff, Phillips, and Jenkins on the floor for the Seahawks. White is starting to heat up. Can't get it to go. Burnham to Smith. Skip pass to the corner. Just off on the triple, but offensive rebound. Back out to Rain Smith. It's short. Another battle for it. Smith tries again. And was that basket interference? It fell in, though, for Rain Smith.
Short-term memory. That's the best way to describe Rain Smith. He doesn't care if he missed 3 or 4 in a row. The next one is going up. I love watching a player like that.
A never-changing green light for the Cougars. Jenkins will go to the line for 3.
And the thing about Jenkins is that he never stays still. Even when other guys are operating, whether it's off-ball ball screen, he's able to find the openings as we look at this replay to see if it was basket interference. Ooh.
Wow. As he hit the rim.
Wow.
It's about as close as you can get, Trey. James Scott just did enough to allow that to count. As here's Jenkins. What a day he's had.
He's just hunting shots. I mean, you can just tell the look in his eye. There's just a confidence about him. And as I mentioned before, he does a good job of moving without the basketball and playing off of other guys and being able to find the little creases and openings where his teammates can find him for open looks from the three-point line.
His role that much more important with UNCW still missing Malik Harden-Hayes, who's out with a lower body injury for a second straight game. Rogers turned it over. Here come the Seahawks. Phillips. Another foul. And he'll go on the line for a pick.
And you see right away Berovich going to the scores monitor to come into the game, but really good take there by Phillips getting downhill in transition.
That's the 4th foul on James Scott. So Pat Kelsey now has to go back to Berzovich. And the officials whistled things before the shot because Pat Kelsey does not think that Phillips was going up for a shot. That stoppage didn't rattle Phillips.
And the thing about Phillips, we see here again, Kelsey questioning that call, whether if it's a shooting foul, but to the point, Phillips only has 18 three-point field goal attempts. But even though he's not a shooter, he's still able to use his size and body to get downhill.
They're on their feet at Trask. Berzovich, time and again. A foul is called. On Harvey.
See it again. Berzovich has to finish that one. I mean, that's 2 feet away from the basket. Nice spin move. The double team doesn't come in enough time. Definitely got fortunate there.
Berzovich, a 61% free throw shooter. What a performance he has had in this game. Give him his season high. 22 points, and Trey's 10 for 14 from the field.
And watching film on him, you know, to me it was very clear that he could be more aggressive on a game-to-game basis. And he has been over the last few games, averaging 13 field goal attempts. I think that's going to be their key for their success moving forward in CAA play.
Just a sophomore by classification from Croatia. Jenkins got a step. Good night.
Shooting it at a high clip. Jenkins actually shoots the ball better off the dribble. Shoots 47% off the dribble. Doing a good job there, setting his feet, knocking it down.
Season high 20 for Jenkins. All the stars are shining. Brzovic lost the ball.
You see it again, doing a good job coming off, even though Smith has the late contest, doesn't phase the red-hot Jenkins.
We've had 8 ties. We've had 8 lead changes. It has lived up to its rivalry billing and its title game rematch billing. And a basket here, and the roof that's on Trask Coliseum will be unhinged. Phillips.
What they're starting to do now, John, is they're starting to run what's called a Spanish pick and roll, where you have the back screen action, and you have to stay home with Jenkins as he sets that back screen.
Policelli. Offensive rebound by Fulton. Here's Smith. He's short. Another battle. It'll stay with the Cougars. How intense is this? Takeo Siddle is asking for a review. Coach, there's 8 minutes on the clock.
And the intensities are high. I mean, John, I don't think these coaches are... It's all about winning at this point. Any advantage they can get as we see it again.
Yeah. And now the officials are going to stop things here to wipe up the floor because you had bodies going to the hardwood. 8:02 to play.
And I'll say this, John.
You got some blood.
We get into March, neither one of these two teams make the NCAA TV. Can get it done at all 3 levels. And the crazy thing is he only averaged like 7 or 8 points per game a season ago, jumping up to 24 points per game because of the transfers in Lance Jones and Marcus Domask.
Quite the leap. And you'll get to see him next on CBS Sports Network. Okay, 8:02 to go, partner. What's this game going to come down to?
Who executes in the half court? Because this game is going to slow down at some point. At least I believe so.
Smith is off. That went over the basket back to UNCW. They have not led since it was 22-21 with 8:05 left in the first half.
And Smith is 2 of 8 from the 3-point line. But if you're Wilmington, you have to continue to cover him hard because he's a guy that has a short-term memory that can make big shots down the stretch.
UNCW has shot at 67% from the field in this second half. Phillips gliding. Seahawks lead.
Once again, Phillips does a great job using the escape dribble. Brzovic hard hedges on the ball screen. Little quick escape dribble opens up the lane for him to get downhill.
Brzovic slicing through 2 Seahawks and a foul.
And if you're Harvey there, you have to close the gap. As we see the replay here, you've got to close that gap so that Brzovic stays contained. But Brzovic was able to get through that gap before Harvey came, and then it caused the blocking foul.
A season-high 23 for Brzovic.
Charleston substitution, Bruce Butler.
He is a Division II transfer. Southeastern Oklahoma State. Played his prep hoops in Croatia, under-recruited, under the radar. But Pat Kelsey goes and finds those under-the-radar gems. And he's put them on the national stage.
100%. You could find talented players anywhere, especially with the landscape of college basketball. with the transfer portal, a lot of guys in recruiting slip through the cracks. Whereas in the past, they would have been recruited by high major opponents. And like when I was playing, there weren't a lot of 6'10" skilled centers at the mid-major level. That is not the case today.
Look at Dalton Bolin and Pat Robinson, D2 guys on last year's tournament team. Here's Phillips. Phillips heaves. He's off, and Berzovic with his 8th rebound.
And Phillips knew it. He was open on that play because, once again, they got to stay home on Jenkins on that Spain pick-and-roll action.
And a kickball called. 10 ties, 9 lead changes. A rematch of the CAA title game last year that Pat Kelsey and the Cougars won. They won all 3 meetings last year. Fulton, Berzovic with a season-high performance. Got that one altered by Harvey. There's 8 on the shot clock.
Here's the game. Charleston is going to play through Berzovic, whether it's on the perimeter, whether it's on the low block. And the Seahawks are going to send that double team, even sometimes a triple team. Other guys have to be ready to shoot on the perimeter.
Policelli. In and out. White got the basketball.
Might have got away with the walk there.
Trazarian White. He's turned it on in this second half with 10. Shot clock at 10 for Phillips, the 5th-year senior. He's ready for this moment. Shaquem Phillips. McGriff couldn't get it. And here come the Cougars. Policelli left open. Offensive rebound, only grabbed momentarily. That went behind the basket. And it made contact, so it is Charleston basketball.
And Charleston is shooting 3 of 14 in the second half. They've gotten the looks that they've wanted, just haven't been able to knock them down. And I think you got to give the Seahawks a ton of credit on the defensive end of staying true to their principles.
On the floor for the Cougars, Crawford, Butler, Berzovic, Rogers, and Burnham. For the Seahawks, it's Jenkins, Phillips, White, McGriff, all starters, and then Hodge, the X factor off the bench. Rogers. Tip back for Berzovic. He has 27.
And even though Rogers missed that bucket, because he was able to get downhill, McGriff had to come over and help, and that opened up the tip back for Berzovic.
Dumped downstairs, off the fake. Bucket good for McGriff, just his 2nd basket of the game.
That was a tough catch by McGriff. Caught it, 2 guys around him, took his time, left-hand dribble, and got to his strong right shoulder.
Timeout, Pat Kelsey, he has 2 left. Both teams have 2 left. We'll be back in 30 seconds. Folks, we're in for drama in Wilmington.
Here, Kobe Rogers getting downhill. Berzovic sealing off his defender. And how about this catch by McGriff? Shot fake, 1 dribble, great fundamental basketball to get the finish.
John Fanta, Trey Demps with you from Wilmington, North Carolina. Rivalry battle. That one is off for Rogers. Another offensive rebound, though, for the Cougars. Crawford, the freshman, has 4 threes tonight. Shot clock's at 8. Burnham got his man in the air and worked the foul.
Great take there by Burnham. Taking his time, the shot clock was going against him. Got into the middle of the paint. Was able to get the shot fake, as we see here again. He's taking his time. There's one little dig. But if you don't send a double team, that is a hard matchup for the sophomore Noah Ross.
Off on his first attempt. As C.J. Fulton checks back in for Rogers. 4:43 to go now. What are you zoning in on in the final stretch of this ball game?
Well, I think this is where your stars need to shine their brightest. And I think it's a little bit of a concern if you're Charleston with Burnham. Only 2 points, 1 of 5 from the field. Hasn't played well on the road all season, but he's got to come up clutch here.
Shaquem Phillips. Phillips with a spin. And a foul going up to K.O. Siddle. Asks for a goaltend. And they will count it and now go to the monitor to review that call.
And I think this is something that a lot more guards can use, especially for bigger size guards.
Ooh.
Phillips, ooh. You see it again here. I don't know, that ball looked like it might have been on the way up.
Agreed. Well, the officials have a debate. At the moment, we have a 2-point game.
It's been from the low block. The Seahawks have had no answer for the big fella, and when he's playing aggressive and getting downhill and getting over that right shoulder, he's unstoppable to guard.
Ante Brzovic with a season-high 27 points and 9 rebounds, and how efficient he's been at 11 of 17. Meanwhile here, folks, that goaltending call, the officials make that call to be able to go to the monitor and review it and make the final determination. You were right, Trey Demps. The ball was still going up on that Phillips shot, so it's just 2 shots for the 5th-year senior.
And I think that shot was going in by Phillips. So that was a great play there by the freshman, getting up there and getting the block.
Scott, who remains in with 4 fouls. John Fanta and Trey Demps with you. These 2 teams fighting for that second slot in the CAA standings, with Drexel in first at 7-0. It's a 2-point Seahawks lead, and here they come again at a sold-out Trask Coliseum. "11 ties, 12 lead changes, alley-oop, and a foul." Scott will go to the line.
You see it again here. Fulton with a little 2-man game with Scott. It's a great lob pass where only Scott can get it up top. And they got him on the arm. Let's see if that big fella can knock down 2 free throws.
Perhaps not the worst foul. He's 10 for 19 on the year from the free throw line. 10 of 19.
He's got a good-looking shot, though. I mean, the mechanics are good. It's fluid.
Here comes Kobe Rogers.
That's something to watch. Who's going to be the go-to guy down the stretch here? Brzovic is coming back in, but on the perimeter, who's going to initiate the offense if the ball can't get into the paint?
Off on both, and he stays in as Brzovic was waiting to check in for him. The largest the largest UNCW ever led this game was by 3 at 12-9. They've been trailing the majority of the way.
Switch here. Phillips with Scott on him.
Scott has 4 fouls. Phillips, fader. And a foul on the Cougars. And they're already in the penalty.
And that's the disadvantage of switching. It's that down low, all of a sudden a guard is on McGriff. McGriff doing a good job of crashing the glass. And you see here, Rogers is on him down there. Look at McGriff crack in right there, be able to get advantage. And that's what prompted the foul on the rebound.
Seahawks are in the double bonus.
And so the Seahawks are in the double bonus. Now the question is, who's the free throw shooter?
That's what I was just thinking. I kind of made a face over here. Jenkins, a little veteran move, walking on over there.
Of course you want your best shooter at the line. But the contact on the foul at least at our first glance, it
Yeah,
looked like
100%.
McGriff was the one who got fouled.
Or my analysis would have made no point. No sense at all.
All right, here we go.
Look at, hold on. Jenkins is running towards half court. That is comical.
It's a really nice veteran attempt by KJ Jenkins to insert himself to the free throw line. You'll do anything to win a rivalry game.
Yeah, Casper must have got him.
But Kamari McGriff is the free throw shooter, where he is a respectable 73% on the year.
But to my point again, I mean, a guy with that kind of stroke, with that kind of size, 10 years ago when I'm playing college basketball, is at a Power 5 school. But that's just what makes this sport so great, is that you can have a guy like that play at this level.
Charleston won for their last 10 from the field. Where do you go?
You've got to go to the big fella right here. See a little bit of an Iverson cut. Get the ball to your best player's hands.
They do give it to him. He's got 27. Fulton. It spins in and out, but we've got bodies to the deck and a whistle. The question is, who's the foul line?
See it again here. You go under the screen on Fulton. Rims in and out.
Where's the foul?
Seems like it happens maybe underneath the basket on the ground. Not quite sure.
We've got both coaches chatting with the officials. This is an intense.
Brazilian White picks up the foul for the Seahawks.
White with the foul. It's a double foul.
I do like that call. Both guys are wrestling. If you're going to call it fair, where both guys are initiating contact and getting tangled up. I love that call from the referee.
So because it's a double foul, it is UNCW basketball as it goes to a jump ball. The arrow was with the Seahawks. So now that arrow's with Charleston. Both teams with 2 timeouts. The Cougars in the single bonus. The Seahawks in the double bonus as we hit 3 minutes to go. Phillips with 8. Shaquem Phillips pulls. Short. McGriff was over the back. Free throws for the Cougars.
Phillips getting to his bag a little bit. The mid-range shot. Good job there by Rogers. Boxing out, even though he's undersized. Playing good fundamental basketball on the glass and drawing the foul.
So, it's the 4th foul on McGriff. And now Colby Rogers, a strong free throw shooter at 82% on the year. Can't hit the front end. Berzovic got the rebound. Crawford, long. Another battle for it. Deflected, and it stays with the Cougars. Or did that not deflect off them? It did. The officials have changed the call.
And we're not under the 2-minute mark, so I don't believe this is reviewable.
It is not. Yep. Got it right. They changed it quickly. Off of Butler's leg.
I think you got to get the ball to White somehow.
We've been at a standstill here. Neither team has made a field goal in the last 3 minutes.
So just a quick isolation.
They're trying to get it to White. Now they do. Trezarian White lost it. And a foul. A foul called with 3 on the shot clock.
If I'm Coach Sedell right now, I want to get White the ball in between the elbows. There's so much help side as we see it again. You see all the hands and help side that can come when he catches that ball. in that mid-block area. But fortunately there, I was able to get the foul.
White 70% from the line on the year now, 4 of 5 today. So here's the other thing, Trey, is you see Harvey check back in for McGriff, who has the 4 fouls. So a little defense for offense, vice versa for Takeo Siddle. Charleston hasn't scored in 3.5 minutes. And get the rebound here. A lot of contact, no call.
And they continue to play through the perimeter. I think you've got to get a post-up touch.
They tried again. Deflected. Back to the Seahawks. It went off the hands of Butler, say the officials, but now they can go to the monitor and look at it. It's UNCW ball. They've got a 4-point lead.
I think both offenses right now are a little bit disoriented. And the reason that is because the pace of this game for 35 minutes has been up and down. Now you have to find the rhythm within the half court to try to execute and get a high percentage shot.
Jenkins, Phillips, Hodge, White, and Harvey for the Seahawks. Smith, Butler, Burzovich, Rogers, and Fulton for the Cougars. Phillips on the move with 10. Phillips kicks. Ross is off. Burzovich has 27. He got stripped. Phillips took it from him, then wisely pulls it out because the clock's his friend.
Great play there. Understanding that Burzovich is going to get downhill and attack. Just takes his ball from him. That's gritty basketball.
2 timeouts apiece, both teams in the double bonus. The Arrows with the Cougars. 8 on the shot clock for Phillips as we hit the final minute. Shaquem Phillips, the 5th-year senior. This is his time!
Big-time play from Phillips. Getting it to the bag. One-on-one, mano-a-mano basketball. And knocking down the top midi. Consider getting one good hard trap before fouling to see if you can force a turnover.
If the Seahawks have any issues inbounding it, they do have a timeout. Charleston with 2, both teams in the double bonus. A jump ball would give the Cougars the ball back. And a foul.
Timeout.
A timeout called at the last moment. So they will use that last timeout. We had simultaneous whistles, and the official on the far side is the one who got the...
They're going to go to a different set where they got 4 guys towards the right sideline here.
We've got Jenkins, Newby, Phillips, and Hodge lined up in a quartet, a stack. White, the inbounder. And the official whistles things here. We've got an offensive foul. An offensive foul is called on Phillips. And could that have gone any better for Charleston? They will get the ball.
Now all of a sudden you got a 2-possession game, and you have 2 possessions because there's 35 seconds on the clock.
So a push-off by Phillips. And now Charleston with a pulse, down by 6, 35.1, plenty of time.
See it again here. Ooh. I don't know, I think Butler might have sold that one a little bit, but nonetheless, it's a veteran play because it's winning time. Any advantage that you can have to get yourself another opportunity to have more life in this game, you're going to take. You want to get a basket to extend the game nonetheless.
And in this second half, Charleston has only shot 3 for 17 from 3. It's an 8-0 UNCW run over 5 minutes. Charleston has not scored in 5 minutes and 3 seconds. Smith will be the inbounder, joined by Butler, Berzovich, Rogers, and Fulton. They get it to Fulton. He's short. Rogers fights for it. It's to the Seahawks.
Very interesting that they ran that set for Fulton to get open from three. He is a 36% field three-point shooter, so did have a look there as we see the replay, but just wasn't able to knock it down.
And they got it right. White, the inbounder, no timeouts for the Seahawks. You've got a tie-up or a foul, and it is a foul. They were fighting to get that jump ball. But instead, it's Rogers with the foul. And in the double bonus, Shaquem Phillips will head to the line. He's 16 for 17 from the line in his last 4 games. And Trey Demps, what a performance that we've seen from the point guard tonight.
Yeah, doesn't have great numbers as far as shooting, but has just led his group in this second half and really taking control of the game. Talk about that key steal on Berzovich in a crucial moment, and the ball has been in his hands. Coach Siddle has really trusted him to be able to create and make plays, and he's made a lot of right decisions.
Makes them both 18 for 19 over the last 4 games. Now up by 8. Fulton. Charleston with 1 timeout. Fulton. Smith from the logo is off. Fight for the rebound. Phillips has it. And he's fouled, and now they can taste it at Trask.
How about this second half performance? Wilmington gutting this victory out.
Butler fouls out.
Look at Coach Siddle. Boom! The excitement, the energy, the passion. Can't think of a better leader of this program. It's a guy who knows how to get it done. It's a well-coached game and a well-played game for the Seahawks.
He's a Kevin Keats and Chris Holtman disciple. And a guy who beat Kentucky as a player. Now as a coach, he led this program to a win over Kentucky earlier this season. He accounted for the second most wins that this program's seen in a 3-year run to start a coaching tenure in program history. He has done a remarkable job here and has a team that, as John Rothstein said earlier this week, could do serious damage in March. The UNCW Seahawks get redemption.
Big time performance for the Seahawks. How about holding Charleston as we see a court storm? 3 of 19 from 3. Amazing atmosphere.